Hi everybody. Καλησπέρα. Hope everybody's well. So today we'll talk about hybrid AI, and we're not going to talk about cars. This is a new technology, but before starting talking about this new technology, where we are today, we have generative AI has reshaped how we work, create, and interface with technology. It's powered by massive cloud-based models that deliver unprecedented technology and ability to scale. So it actually, Gen AI and cloud models basically relies on, cloud in order to get the data and being able to perform, all the different types of functions. So we're moving now to the next phase of evolution, an evolution that is basically going to transform, is going to change, how interface with AI. And this is the hybrid AI. And what hybrid AI is, it brings intelligence closer to users by utilizing and combining the capabilities of both cloud and on-device processing. So this is going to create a huge shift in terms of performance, privacy, and personalization that's going to unlock new Gen AI experiences. So before we actually start talk about a little bit the limitations of Gen AI. So first of all, we have latency. Currently, all the AI models, they actually take time before they actually get a response, and this is, reduces the customer experience. The other thing is that those AI models, they don't know us, they don't know you, they don't know your data, they don't know your preferences, they don't know what you are asking, what you need. So even if they actually keep your chat history, that's not personalization. What we're planning to do here and what we want to do, we want to include now all the data that you have in your devices, in your cloud, in being able to actually create models out of this data in order to be able to kind of ingest and get very quick answers from what you need. Then it's cost. Currently, in order to actually get subscriptions, they're expensive subscriptions. But also, I expect that in a few years, even the basic services, they're going to go through paywalls. And then finally, security and trust. Both consumers and large enterprises are very concerned about security and safety of their data, and how do we actually keep those ones privately, how we can actually keep them inside. So those are the main challenges. And the way we're planning to kind of create this is this concept with hybrid AI. And what we have, as probably all you know, we have those neural processing engines that they can actually run AI workloads inside the devices, and they can provide a transformative shift in terms of how we actually interact with artificial intelligence. So those AI models, they actually run on local devices. We call those ones sometimes as small language models compared to large language models. And they run on dedicated, hardware, and they provide these capabilities. They can actually run at very, very fast, very low latency. You can keep all of your data private. And of course, you can actually use those technologies, even if you're offline. And then finally, you can actually reduce costs because now you actually have some of those inference and some of those models running locally. So in terms of those NPUs, as I mentioned, they're specialized blocks. They're designed, for performing neural network computations. And this is what they give us the ability to be able to actually run real-time tasks on the device, consuming very, very little power. However, the real power of hybrid AI comes with this ability to actually merge those capabilities. So you actually have in one side, the edge, the devices, where you can actually run immediate, repetitive, and also privacy sensitive tasks. And then you have now the cloud, where you can actually run complex reasoning tasks. You can actually provide access to vast knowledge or databases, and then handle all the intense computational tasks. So this is the idea, and with this approach, we actually create a responsive, private, and cost-effective applications that can actually leverage, the best of both worlds. The speed and the agility of the edge, and also the intelligence of the cloud. Let's see a couple of other items that they are related to this topic. So what kind of technologies we have today? So all of you know about generative AI. This entire concept is so it's about generative AI. But what this one is actually doing, it provides us with information. We can get answers very quickly, and we can get insights of what we do. Then after that, we actually had the action models. In other words, now you have the inferences, but what about if you actually add actions in back of the inferences? And then we actually got what we call the large language models. But those large action models, they don't last very long, because what we have here, and this is actually very important, we have this new phase where we call this agentic AI. And agentic AI is basically, it's a step further, where now you have agents that they can reason. You have agents that can create a plan, they can execute a plan, they can analyze the results, and then after that they can assess whether those results are correct, and then finally, if needed, they can actually take corrective actions. So basically, it can completely transform, how we interface with those devices. And coming up from agentic AI, we have also this new emerging concept of super agents. And super agents are collections of agents that they can actually work together in order to complete the task. So think of it as now you have a super agent, a travel super agent that can book tickets based on your schedule. It can book hotels based on your preferences, and book also restaurants based on the foods that you actually like. So again, a complete new experience. So bottom line is that this is an incredible, powerful technology. It will change how we live on a regular basis, and we're going to be able to actually offload anything that is repetitive and boring off our shoulders, and where we're going to be able to actually gain in terms of better productivity, and we'll have more free time to do the things that we like to do most. So a couple of more comments about this hybrid AI and what this one means. So hybrid and agentic AI represents the next step, as I mentioned, in intelligent computing. Those systems, they can think, they can adapt, they can work across the cloud and across the devices, and it combines, all different types of interesting technologies. So first of all, it's the balance, being able to actually have, workloads that you can either run on devices or run on the cloud. And based on the requirements of the application, the experience, they can adjust and they can improve over time. They are aware of the context of what we're actually doing, and they can help us proactively in order to solve the problems that we have. You have this hybrid intelligence where, now the AI on the device can understand our data, and based on that, they can actually solve our problems, or they can actually work with cloud in order to actually provide a more complete and more accurate solutions. The agents can work independently. You can have agents working on your device using your data, agents running on the cloud using cloud information, and all those things working together, they can provide those unique experiences. And then finally, we have the privacy. And the privacy, again, if we have sensitive data, everything stays on the device, stays on our systems, it doesn't go away. So what we actually see, we see a future that cloud and cloud and also device AI can work together. They can provide this new experience where we can actually use the cloud to access vast amounts of information, and we use the device to actually get our local data. So here's an example in terms of how we're gonna deploy all those capabilities, and this is very interesting. So first of all, we actually have to build an orchestration layer. And what is the orchestration layer? Is the ability to actually understand, what can we run on the device and what can we run on the cloud. So, for example, sometimes when we actually create a prompt, the prompt is not accurate. it's not good enough in order to get us the response that we want. So the ability to actually run on the device, prompt engineering and guardrails, so we can actually create now a curated prompt that is accurate, precise, and safe. We can send out onto the cloud, and then we can get information from the cloud. So this is something we can run on the device in order to be able to minimize, the turnaround between device and cloud. But also on device, we can do other things. We can actually speak to our computer, and we can actually generate or create text from our voice. We don't have to go to the cloud. It's too long, too expensive. At the same time, on the devices, we have a lot of intelligence. We have all of our data. We know exactly how those devices operate. We collect every data, every time in Lenovo, a lot of information about our devices. We know what's happened. We can actually help the users to be able to identify and the devices by themselves to understand what's happening to them to prevent problems. And then finally, we can actually run agentic workflows on the devices. Another way to kind of see this hybrid AI concept and how we can actually bring multimodal experiences. So in our devices, we have a lot of sensors. We have microphones, they can capture voice. You have cameras that they can actually see what we're doing. We have the screen that you have in imprint in terms of what you do every time. And of course, we have the data, preferences, and of course, the device data. So putting all those things together, it creates a very interesting, there's a lot of data, and Gen AI and cloud AI does not have access to this information. It's on the cloud, we're on the device. So this is where, the small language model, this is where, a local AI plays a huge role, because now we can actually use this data, create this local intelligence, and we can actually use the cloud LLMs to be able to, of course, train those fundamental small language models, but also to be able to manage them, deploy them, and see how they're doing. So with these experiences, what we can do? We can actually be more productive by dictating instead of typing in our computers. That increases our productivity 3 times. Very, very important. The cameras can analyze what we're doing, so they can actually help us what is best for us. Analytics, we can actually see what is happening. The devices can understand what is happening on our screens, and they can help us, to automate several tasks or help fixing problems if some problems exist. Another important part with retrieval augmented reality, we can create models from all of our private data, emails, chats, cloud photos, everything we have. And then we can have an interface where we can ask the model, where is this information? So very easy to be able to find quickly accurate information. And then finally, all the data that we actually have on the devices, they can actually help. They can be more our devices can help to be more proactive. They can actually help us to identify where is, for example, the end of our battery. So all those things can happen. Let's see one use case. It's a very simple example, and you will actually see the complexity. So here is you're looking at the computer here, and then you actually touch your screen, and you circle something, and you say, can you help me with us with this? What this one means? So very, very simple experience, but you can actually see how complex and how difficult this one is. So first of all, you have to take the voice prompt, saying, please tell me what this one is. This one is going to be a local agent that's going to be running on your device, being able to capture this information, analyze it, and then interface with another component that is going to be to capture the area of the screen that the user is pointing, and then after that, to analyze that, generate the prompt that is going to go to the LLMs, and then after that, the LLMs, they have to provide a response that it will have to be curated and encapsulated, within something that we can actually see on our screens. So very, very complicated operations, but they bring this very, very elegant, solution that we will all enable us to become more confident working with computers. It will actually empower the users to be able to create and innovate. And that's something we actually plan to do in Lenovo with all of our device ecosystems. Thank you.